Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Auto AI Learners. I am Naresh Kumar and back with another interesting video today. We are going to build MCP server for PostgreSql. Guys, APIs are already lets systems talk to each other. So why did Anthropic or OpenAI and others create something new called MCP server? Here is the thing. APIs are great, but they were never designed for AI assistance. Every integration needs tokens, endpoints, networking, and that makes it messy, insecure, and hard to control locally. Then came into the picture MCP, which is also called Model Context Protocol, fixes these issues. It lets your AI connect safely, talk to your local systems or remote systems like PostgreSql through a lightweight server you build in Python or Node.js. Once that's done, any MCP compatible client like Claude Desktop, ChatGPT, or n8n can use your tools directly. In this video, I will walk you through exactly what MCP is, why it's better than traditional APIs or AI tools connection, the difference between local and remote MCP setups, and how to connect your PostgreSql database using Python-based MCP server to perform real CRUD operations from your AI. Without getting any delay, let's jump into the video and start building our MCP servers. Alright guys, in this video we are going to build an MCP server to interact with PostgreSql. We will build both the server local as well as remote MCP server. For that, what you need to do, open Model Context Protocol official document. You can find a section over here, build MCP server. Once you come here, just scroll down, you will find the instructions how to create MCP servers. In case if you are using Mac OS, just follow these instructions. If you are using Windows machine, you have to follow these things. So they are using UV as a package manager instead of pip. So UV is a package manager like a pip. So for that, what you need to do, you need to install UV first in your system. Once you install UV in your system, you can start following these instructions. So for checking whether UV is installed or not, you just type command UV. You can see all these options. If you see like these options, then your UV is already installed in your system. In case UV is not installed, you have to type pip install UV, which will install UV package manager in your system. So I have already installed, so I am not going to do that again. So straight away I am going to start these instructions. First, they are creating a folder called weather. In my case, instead of weather, I will give my folder name. So that will be first MCP I am going to give. So you can give any folder name as your wish and then hit enter. So you can see that first MCP folder has been created. Then we'll follow next command. Next command is navigate to that particular folder. So for that, what we need to do, we need to type cd and then first MCP, hit enter. So we are in our folder right now. Once that is done, execute the next command, which is uvvenv. So this command will create a virtual environment with the name venv. So in case if you want another virtual environment name instead of venv, you can give any environment name. In my case, I am keeping as it is and then hit enter. Once you hit enter, you can see over here that virtual environment has been successfully created. Once it is created, it is asking you to activate this path, right? So you can see the documentation also. They are telling same thing. You have to activate your virtual environment. Just hit enter. So you can see my virtual environment has been successfully activated now. Then after that, you need to install dependencies. There are couple of dependencies. One is MCP and then HTTPX. So why HTTPX is needed? Because we are going to build remote MCP servers. So for that, HTTPX library is required. So I'm going to copy and install both the libraries. It may take some time. Just sit tightly. Let it install. So meanwhile, we'll follow the next step. Next step is creating our server file. So which is they are giving name as a weather.py. In my case, I will give postgresql.py. Right. So all the libraries has been installed. Let me rename this file name as postgresql.py. Hit enter. So now you can see that that new file has been created. So here all MCP server related code you can write. So I have already written a sample code to connect to uh, your PostgreSQL database. Right. I will copy and paste. Let me explain you after pasting over here. Okay. So first things first, we need a couple of imports. We have done these two imports are not required anyway. We are not using, so we can delete those two imports. Then after that, we are importing MCP server from past MCP package. We are importing fast MCP. So fast MCP is like it is like a fast API for the Python, which we use create uh, uh, APIs quickly, right? So in MCP case, we use fast MCP to create MCP servers quickly, and then we need psychobg2 because this package will give you all connection details for the PostgreSQL, and then we are importing sys package. So once this is done, you need to initialize fast MCP object. So I'm taking a variable called MCP and then I'm initializing fast MCP. It requires couple of arguments. One is PostgreMCP, which is your name of your MCP server, and PostgreSQL MCP server is going to be description of your MCP server. So these two are completely optional parameters. If you want, you can use. If you don't want, you can simply create fast MCP server without passing any arguments. All right. So once that is done, I'm declaring my PostgreSQL server URL. So what I have done, I have went to Neon, which will give you a remote PostgreSQL access freely. So what you can do, you come here, neon.tech, and then you can create your account. Once you create account, it will ask you to create a new project. You can give a project name and you can select Postgre version. This is completely free. Instead of struggling with local installations, you can completely use for development purpose. Later, you can select which cloud service provider you need, either AWS or Azure. Anything works fine. After that, you have to select your region. Then you can click enable Neon Auth. It is completely optional. If you click, it will give you access token and all. If you don't give, so anyone with URL can connect to your DB. Since for demo purpose, you may click or you can ignore it. I have checked it and then created a new database. So once you do that, it will create a new database like this. Then you can click over here. After that, you can create whatever the tables you want inside tables section. So currently, if you see, I have created one table called users. In my users table, currently 3 users are exist. So user ID 1 is Naresh, user ID 6 is Nani, and user ID 7 is test. So this is a simple plain PostgreSQL setup. In case if you want to add a record, you can click on here, add record. It will give you the options. You can add it. In case if you want to create a new table, you can also create new table by going to SQL editor. So as simple as that, or you can also by using GUI, you can create a new table as well. Just click on plus. It will ask you create schema or create table, whatever you want. In case if you want to create a new table, just create a table. It will ask whatever the columns you need, what are the constraints you need, everything. So if you have already a PostgreSQL knowledge, I hope you know all these things. It is very easy. It will give you a GUI interface. You can simply select whatever column names you want. If you want to add any constraints, you can click on add constraints here, or like this you can do it. The simple way, one more simple way will be go to SQL editor. You can hit any SQL commands, uh, be it a create table, delete table, insert records, delete records, whatever, it will work straight away. So I'm not going to show you all these things. I assume you already know how to create a table, right? So I have created a table, PostgreSQL table, and my table name is users. So if you want to connect to this database, what you have to do, you can simply go to overview section, and then you can see your project over here. Click on connect. Once you click on connect, you can see your connection string you will get over here. If you click here, it will show your password as well. So this is the connection string I have copied and then I have pasted over here. So this is my PostgreSQL connection string. All right. So I hope it is clear. Once this is done, I have declared one function which will be used for querying my DB. So what this will do, it will establish the connection and it will take SQL statement as a input and then it will return required things. Right. So after that, I have defined four functions. One is for inserting user. This is a straight insert user function, and you have to decorate at the rate MCP tool. Then this will become a new tool to the MCP server. If you don't use this decorator, it will act as a regular function. So if you want to act this as a MCP tool, you must declare with a decorator at the rate mcp.tool. So this is the insert user, insert a new user into the database. This is the description I have given for this particular function, and then I have written a query for inserting the user. So basically I have three columns in my four columns in my table. If you see over here, let me go to the tables. So you can see I have an ID, name, email and age. Since I have given ID as my primary key, so all these IDs will be automatically assigned by my system. So what I need to pass, I just need to pass name, email and age so that it will create a new user, right? And then it will return whatever it is created. All right. So I have already declared one more function called get user. What this function will do, it will take ID as an input and then try to retrieve that particular user by ID. So you can see my description, what I have written, retrieve the user by ID. So what argument it is required? It is required ID as an argument and then the ID of the user to retrieve. Then it will return a dictionary containing the user details. So these things are you need to declare, because so that your LLM will understand better what this tool does. So if you see my first function, you can see that insert a new user into the database. I have clearly mentioned what argument is it is required. It requires a name, it requires an email, it requires age, and what it will return, it will return an integer which is the ID of the newly inserted user. So like this, I have created a functions for insert user, get user, and as well as get all users, retrieve all users from the database, which returns a list of dictionaries containing user details. And this is going to be my query, select star from users, order by some ascending order over ID, right? After that, I have given one more function called update user, which will try to update the user. It means you can also mention here optional, which means any one or at a time multiple parameters you can update, right? So if it is required, you should not specify optional over here. In if you don't specify optional, LLM thinks that it is a required field. So I hope you got my point. So after that, these are the regular stuff for update user. So we are what if name is there, we are assigning name. If email is there, we are appending email, because sometimes user wants to update only name, sometimes user wants to update only age for that particular ID. So that's why I have keep it all these are optional, so that any one field is exist, then it will try to perform that particular operation. So after that, what I have defined, I have defined a regular delete user function, so which will take ID as an argument, which is integer type, and then uh, it is going to return string. You can mention that also over there. So after that, this is my main function. My main function, currently I have taken a variable called mode, because the same MCP server I want to run multiple times. So same code should work for a local MCP server as well as a remote MCP server. So if I specify mode as a stdio, then it treats like a I'm trying to create local MCP server. In case if I specify HTTP, then it will create a remote HTTP server. So basically it will take the system argument, and then if system argument contains HTTP, then it will run the MCP server over streamable HTTP. Otherwise, it will run HTTP IO transport, standard input output transport. So this is how this code looks like. It is very simple. I will share this code in the description. You can also define n number of functions and n number of tables as well. You can create, you can perform joins, you can perform any sort of operations, SQL operations through your MCP tool. So I hope code part is cleared. Then let's run this code and then first check how to connect locally, and then we will see how to connect over internet. Correct. So for that, so I try to run my server. So I am getting the error called this package has not been installed. So for that, what you need to do, let me install the package first. For that, you need to write uv add. Remember this, we are not using a pip as a package manager. We are using uv as a package manager. So you need to add these packages using uv package manager. So and then type this, paste over here, hyphen binary. So this is the package. This is the package name, and then hit enter. So once you hit enter, this package will install. Once this is installed, then what we need to do, we need to we need to run our MCP server locally first. For that, type python space your file name, which is postgresql.py. If you pass any system argument like HTTP, it will run MCP server as a remote MCP server through streamable HTTP transport. So first I want to check locally whether it works or not. Then I will expose it through HTTP. So for that, what I need to do, I need to pass HTTP right now because I want to check locally. Hit enter. So I have seen sorry guys, there is a spelling mistake over here. Let me correct this spelling mistake. It is python thon. Hit enter. Still some error. Sorry, python space run my file, which is postgresql. Hit enter. So right, all right. So your file will be, your MCP server will be up. Now what you have to do, you have to connect it through Claude Desktop or any local system, because since we are not exposing it through HTTP, outer world cannot access this MCP servers. Only local systems can access. So for that, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use Claude Desktop, and then I'm going to connect this Claude Desktop to my local MCP server. So for that, what you have to do, you have to go to your user profile section and then click on settings. Then click on developer. You can find edit config file over here. Click on edit config file. Then open this file. Let me open with Visual Studio Code, and you can see that this is my configuration. MCP servers I have defined. My MCP server name is going to be Postgre-user-crud, and command should be point to your virtual environment python.exe file. That is what I mentioned over here. If you are using Windows system, make sure you are using // otherwise you will get some error. Then I have to pass where my server file is exist. That file location is going to be this postgresql.py file location. That's it. So this is the basic configuration I have to give. I have given it successfully. Once you have given it successfully, go to file, exit, and then open your Claude Desktop again. Just open it. Then go to account section, select settings, then come to developer section. So you can see that your Postgre-user-crud is running successfully. So this is the name I have given in my configuration file. You can see over here Postgre-user-crud. So that has been loaded and running successfully. Now I can talk to my PostgreSql through my Claude Desktop. So let me quickly go to new chart. So here also you can see that what and all available MCP servers. You can see Postgre-user-crud is available over here. Just click on here. You can see whatever the MCP decorator MCP tool I have exposed, all functions are available over here. Insert user, get all users, update user, delete user. These are the functions I have shown you earlier. In case if you want to uh, you know restrict the action delete user, you can simply disable this action. So from now onwards, delete user function is not going to work. So for this demo purpose, I'm going to enable it. So first quickly let me add a new user. So I'll talk to the Claude desktop through NLP. Let me tell add a user with a name called Kumar kumar@gmail.com. See, I'm not mentioning anything. This Kumar is a name, kumar@gmail.com is a email ID. Nothing I'm mentioning. I'm randomly giving some name, some email ID, and some age. So these three are the required parameters for adding the user. So I have given these three parameters and then hit enter. So remember what name I am given. I have given Kumar and kumar@gmail.com. Let us go and check. So just click on always allow. Then it will try to insert that particular user into our DB. So you can see that great. I have successfully added the user. Name is going to be Kumar and email is going to be this. Age is going to be this and user ID is going to be 8. So for cross verification, let me take you to my PostgreSQL dashboard and then click on users. Let's refresh over here. You can see the new user has been added with the details we have given. So not only adding user, you can also delete user. You can also get all users. So let me tell get all users. Give me the list of users I have. So click on always allow. You have to give the basically permission, then only your in the back end your python.exe will run and get the all related details. So now you can see that I have 4 users, which is Naresh, Nanivan, Test, and then Kumar. So you can also cross verify these 4 users I have in my DB. You can also get individual user details. So let me ask user ID 1 details. So give me the user details with ID 1. So let's see. All right, always allow. All right, so this is the user ID 1 and then name is Naresh, his email is naresh@example.com and age is going to be 28. So we can successfully conclude that our local MCP server is running successfully. Then what next? Our goal is not to run a local MCP server. Our goal is to run a remote MCP server so that any MCP client in the world can access our server. So for that, I need to run this server using streamable HTTP, right? Let me close this and then I will run same file with system argument HTTP. So you can see my code. If I pass system HTTP, then it will run over streamable HTTP. If it run over STDIO, standard input output, it runs only locally. So you cannot access from any external system. If you want to access from any external MCP client, you have to run this using mcp.run and transport should be streamable HTTP, right? Let me run it now. All right, so you can see that this has been running in local system with the port 8000. By default, 8000 port will be assigned. In case if you want to change your port numbers, you can change by passing a port as a parameter over here. Right now, I am not going to change it. All right, now it is running, but it is running in localhost. How external systems can access? External systems cannot access currently because it is running in a local server and my mission is not exposed over internet. For that, what I will do, I have to use any external services like ngrok and then expose my MCP server to the outer world. So for that, let me go to my ngrok. So I have already downloaded my ngrok. You can see over here. So this is my ngrok software. Let me double tap over it. So you can see that ngrok has been opened. So if you want to expose anything, you have to run a command called ngrok.exe http and port number, which port you want to expose. In my case, it is 8000 port. So let me quickly type this command ngrok http expose 8000. All right. So this is going to be my server URL. So whoever hits this URL and this service is going to hit my localhost 8000, right? So this is going to be our MCP server URL, right? Let me copy it. This is going to be my URL with /MCP. Through that URL, I can access my MCP server. So for that, I will take n8n and then I will add MCP client tool in n8n and I will try to access my system. So for that, I have taken one n8n chart trigger node and AI agent node. I have already given my OpenAI chart model access to this agent. Then click on tool, select MCP client tool. Select that. So server transport, you have a two options: HTTP streamable and server sent events. If you see our program, we are running through streamable HTTP. You can also run through server sent events. So we are not running that. So we need to select HTTP streamable, and then endpoint is going to be the URL we have copied from ngrok, and then /MCP is going to be our endpoint URL. So right now we are not going to provide any authentication. So we are not going to select tools to include. So right now I am giving all. If you want particular tools to be included, like if you want to restrict delete user kind of thing, you can use selected and then you can give the permissions according to that. I'm going to select all. If you want add action, timeout actions, anything like how much time it should wait for executing that particular MCP tool, you can specify over here. Right now I am not going to give. So once this is done, just click on execute step and it will ask you which tool to be selected. So since we are going to test, we can you can conclude now. Already whatever the functions we have written over here, all the function list it came here, it means it has successfully established connection to our MCP server and then got our all MCP tools. So let me select the get user uh, and it will ask ID because ID is the required parameter. Let me enter 1 and then click on execute. So it should give that ID 1, which is going to be a Naresh, and email is naresh@example.com. So this simple, you can access your MCP server from any MCP client. If you see their MCP official document, you can also build your own MCP client and try to access your MCP server. So we'll see how to build MCP client in upcoming videos. So right now our MCP client is ready. Let me test this. Let me going to add one more user. Add an user auto AI gmail.com and age I am going to be 54. Hit enter. So it should try to access our MCP client. MCP client will connect it to our MCP server. Our MCP server will execute that particular add user tool and then it will give the response. You can see the response: user auto AI with email autoai @gmail.com and AS54 has been added. So if you want to cross verify, come over to your DB and refresh. the same user has been added. So let me get user ID detail 8, and then also I will try to delete one user, and then we'll close this session, right? So give me the user details with ID 8. In case the ID won't exit, it will tell that user not found, because our system will give empty response to our agent, and agent gives that user not found. So you can see that user ID details with ID 8 are Naresh, name is Kumar, and kumar@gmail.com is his email, and age is 23. Now let me create whatever the user we have added now. So which user we have added? For deleting the user, we need user ID, right? So I'm going to delete the user ID with 7. Let me test it. Delete the user, delete the user ID, delete the user 7. I'll simply say, it should understand basically. So you can see that it is calling the MCP client, and MCP client will contact our MCP server, and our MCP server will give the response back. And finally we got the response saying that user with ID 7 has been deleted. You can also cross verify by going to your DB. Just refresh this, and the ID 7 has been deleted successfully. So this is how we will build MCP servers for local as well as for remote MCP servers. So you can do much more things. You can go to official document and follow. You can do much more things using MCP. You can add security over here. You can use MCP inspector for debugging kind of thing. So much more options are available. If you have a time, please go and explore. So that's it, guys. We are going to end here now. In case if this content is useful to you, please hit like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to comment and share. Thank you so much for your time. We'll meet in next video.